I want to be louder, but we're in the library. I want to be like, oh, yay, yay, like we're loud, but you know.
We had to sneak into this room and be like, hey, is this seat taken? Yeah, so in this video, Giulio has this really cool bag over here, this mystery bag, and there's a lot of really juicy gear in here, so this is gonna be like a what's in my bag kind of video. There's a G9 in there, I know that. But yeah, let's get into it. This is actually my stunt double.
Aqua.
You should be like, greetings Aqua fam, this is Ben Aqua.
Okay, greetings Aqua fans, it's Ben Aqua.
Alright, maybe we can switch back because I can't see shit now.
Okay.
This is Giulio Sciorio. I messed it up.
No, let it roll, dude. It's good.
Giulio Sciorio.
Sciorio.
Giulio is a photographer.
Been shooting professionally since 2005 and was an enthusiast way back into the 90s. Been sponsored by Panasonic and Olympus. I did augmented reality shoots, directed videos, magazine covers. You know, the point of my life where like I want to have fun shooting, like get people like you guys off your butts and go out and shoot something.
Snap, crackle, pop, we recording. Giulio over here has this big old bag. So Giulio, what's in your bag?
So this is my Tenba DNA 15 Slim. It is a limited edition bag and it is the coolest camera bag I've owned, and I've had, if I say 100, that wouldn't be enough. I don't know how many, it's a lot. This is the best shoulder bag I've ever owned. I mean, I've done a lot of reviews and I use it as a diaper bag. It's got these rad magnetic locks. It's got very quiet Velcro. So, or you can open it normal. It's a big difference. Top-down access. Why don't we dive in? I kind of show you what's in here. First thing I'm going to do is take out this stuff. This is not what I normally carry with me, but it's just a magic arm and a glyph. Yeah, I got the Jobby Job. I know it's called Joby, but I like to call it the Jobby Job. I've had this for years, and then it's become popular with vlogging. It's a good tripod for what it is. All right, into the 15 Slim. First thing I got is the Panasonic G9 with the Leica 12-60. This is a pretty dope camera, to say the least. I've got the somewhat rare Lumix G1. This is actually one of the first ones off the assembly line, and it has a really rare bottom grip, which is dope. And the Leica 15-1.7, which kind of was designed for this camera. Also a really nice lens. Then I've got the kit lens. This is the 12-32. This is why Micro Four Thirds is so awesome, because you can go small lenses, you can go big, but look at that. Surprisingly sharp, stabilized. This is dope. If you put this on the G1, you got a really rad little vlogging camera. 16 megapixel sensor, great Wi-Fi, built out of metal. They don't make them anymore, but you can find them used for like under 400 bucks. Just my Tenba cord bag. I got a bunch of these. I love the green, fluorescent green with the camo. The idea is when you're shooting out of the bag, you want to be able to work quick. You don't want any gear to stand in your way. The more it stands in your way, the less you're creating. If you are buying a gear bag that you got to get into and get out, like one of these, make sure it's clear, because if it's not, how do you know what's in there? So this side I got my Rode VideoMic Pro. We got my InstaLav, which I'm wearing right now. I got some dongles, extra battery for the Rode VideoMic Pro, and a Rode SmartLav. Oh, I got my first gen 12.9-inch iPad Pro.
Whoa.
Branded. This is the Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II with the 12-100 Pro lens, and it's a pretty rad combo.
Is this a full frame camera here?
Nope.
OMD?
Nope.
Okay.
Micro Four Thirds.
Micro Four Thirds?
Yep.
Wow.
Now that's a 12-100 lens. So if you were to look at the focal length equivalent for like a full frame, it would be a 24-200. F4 constant. I got these two rad Olympus lenses. This is the 12-20 and this is a 17-1.8. But they both have these focusing clutches built in. So if you want to manually focus or do hyperfocal distance, you can set them back up. Another thing that's cool about these lenses, in particular with Olympus cameras, is you can have the Olympus preset a specific distance when you pull the clutch back. So if you know that typically you like to shoot at 5 feet, as soon as you pull the clutch back, it's already pre-focused at 5 feet for you, which is super handy if you're doing street shooting. And they both work great for video. And that's what's cool about Micro Four Thirds too, right? I mean, you have these lenses, you can have small, bright lenses, longer all-purpose lenses, smaller cameras. They're very robust cameras. and so is the body, and then the same with the G9 and then the 12-60 Leica. It's also weather sealed. So if you guys are shooting Sony, you're probably used to something kind of like this. You have these tiny Sony bodies and these giant standard lenses.
What are you trying to say, Giulio?
Yeah, I'm dissing. I'm throwing shade.
I feel threatened right now. For example, Sony A6400 with this giant lens, and this is just
that's an f1.8, and then here is a pro level micro four thirds camera with a 1.8 lens. So big difference.
Out of all these cameras here, what's your favorite combo, or the one that you think you would take, you know, as your everyday shooter kind of camera? Sure.
Well, I have more experience with the G9s. I've had this longer than the EM1. This combo is great because I wanted to have a lens like this. This is a 12-60 Leica and Panasonic collaboration with this lens. So you're going to get really nice color. The Leica lenses will give you not only a different quality of image, but part of that Panasonic, but part of the quality of that image is the color profile that is built into the optics and also to the firmware. So this is a really good all-around lens because it has dual image stabilization. So the lens is stabilized optically, the camera is stabilized with the sensor, and then they actually talk to each other. So you get what's called dual IS. The Olympus equivalent is this with the 12-100 f4 Pro. So this is a larger lens. It's a little heavier. The Olympus also has stabilization built in the lens, and it does what's called Sync IS, which is a different name but does the same thing as a Panasonic Dual IS. So with the 12-100 on the Olympus body, you get stabilization of both. The stabilization with the Olympus is a little more robust than the Panasonic. I will say that the G9 is a little larger. Let me turn them around like this. It'll probably give you a better idea when you kind of look at them like top down. You can see the size difference. So as far as portability, I mean, the Olympus is more portable, but that's Olympus's thing is the OM series have always been, from day one when they released them to the film market, were always small cameras that were fully featured. And then you still get that with the EM1. You also get that with the G9.
Where does the GM1 over here, where does the GM1 fit into all this?
Where it fits, kind of fits in your pocket, basically. This is a great everyday camera. Like, man, I just love the Micro Four Thirds standards. It's so, like, you can have an Olympus and have this. You could swap lenses, right? So you can put the 17 on here and have a nice bright prime with a focus clutch. This is a great casual everyday shooter, but it's got the same size sensor as the other two cameras. It's a 16 megapixel sensor versus a 20 megapixel sensor. It sounds like a big difference. It's not. To put it in perspective, a magazine cover only needs an 8 megapixel image, and a double truck, or what is commonly referred to as a spread in a magazine, needs maybe like a 12 megapixel image. So you're getting a 16 megapixel image with this camera. It's got great video, which is a hallmark for Panasonic. Fully manual if you want, or automatic. And then you can put on, you know, these different small lenses. And if I want to go bright, and you have Olympus, you can do that, which is a sweet combo, right? So now you got the focus clutch, so you're ready to do some street shooting. Pretty sharp lens, fairly bright at f1.8.
What do you think are the advantages and maybe disadvantages of using Panasonic versus Olympus in general?
Sure, and that's a valid question because you have the standard, and the standard is the Micro Four Thirds standard. That's the mount and sensor size and other specs. That's the standard. Within that standard, you have different systems. So you have the Olympus system, you have the Panasonic Lumix system. So because the mount is the standard, it's part of the standard, that means you could put a lens from Panasonic on Olympus and a lens from Olympus on Panasonic, and they will work for the most part, but you're not necessarily going to have all features. So case in point, so sorry.
Excuse me, can you mute all cell phones, please? This is the Ben Aqua YouTube channel. This is important stuff we got going on.
Office of Ben Aqua, how can I help you? So there are some differences that you should be aware of. So for starters, some of the Leica designed lenses for Micro Four Thirds have an aperture ring like this guy here. The Leica Nocticron and some of the other primes have aperture rings. The aperture ring will work on Panasonic bodies only. The aperture ring is not compatible with Olympus bodies, so no matter where you turn it, it doesn't do anything. That's because it triggers the aperture by wire, not by mechanics. Now, on the flip side, like this lens here, the 17-1.8 with the focus clutch, will work on Panasonic bodies because this is a mechanical system. The other thing that is not compatible, and I see people do this all the time, and I'm like, why are you guys doing this? I see people buy this lens for like a GH5. GH5 is a great camera. This is a great lens. But what happens is because this has stabilization in the body, and when you use it on an Olympus camera, you get the Sync IS. It is not compatible with a Panasonic camera. Okay, so the Panasonic camera using a compatible lens like this Leica that has stabilization built in, you get the dual IS. Same thing as Sync IS, different name. But it's only compatible with Panasonic made lenses. So this lens, as nice as it is, I wouldn't recommend it for Panasonic shooters. Just like I would not recommend the Leica lenses for Olympus shooters because you lose the aperture ring. The other thing too is some people are not too crazy about the Panasonic colors. If that is you, I highly suggest you try a Panasonic camera with the Leica lenses. It makes a difference. With Olympus, the nice thing is if you buy a kind of like a somewhat premium prime like this, or even like this 17 is a very inexpensive lens, it's like under $500, you're still going to get the same color quality and fidelity as you would with their designated pro lenses like the 12-100. The other thing that should be noted is that they're the philosophies behind the cameras. So up until the G9, Panasonic was a video camera leaning system, and in the case of the GH5 is more video camera than stills. It really is. So Panasonic launched a second flagship camera, that's the G9, and the G9 put still photography first. Okay, so it doesn't get the same level of video features as the GH5, like within the codecs and having waveform and having vlog and all that. But you do get a really good quality video file out of the G9, and in some ways the video quality from the G9 is superior to that of the Olympus, because both cameras, while they do 4K, the Panasonic can do 4K at 60 frames a second, and the Olympus taps out at 30 frames a second. If you want a camera that does good stills and good video, these are both there. If you are a still photographer first, and you do want good quality video, but maybe it's not something where you want to learn about like shutter angles and really slowing down your video in 4K, then this is a great option, the EM1. You get really good quality 4K video. Like I have no issue with the video quality from this at all. And now with the firmware 3.0, you also get a log profile built in, which the G9 does not have. Now the other thing, and I think this may be personal preferences, but I find, and people are going to flip out about this, but I find the ergonomics in the Olympus more suitable for me than the G9. Mainly, it's the strap lugs. So you get these strap lugs on the side. I get why they're there, to hold your camera, but so often I grab, and you can see what happens if I want to get a proper grip. I get this metal lug sticking me in my hand. In addition, you can see where my thumb, what happens to my thumb, for whatever reason, how they designed a camera. My thumb's way up here if I'm trying to hold it. The thumb rests between the dials, so if I want to turn this dial, I gotta kind of reach over. Now what happens is as soon as my thumb comes off, now the camera becomes a little less stable to hold. So operating this with one hand is not so easy. Additionally, the dial up here, right? If I want to control aperture from, or whatever I'm controlling from here, I got to move my finger back versus having it right here around the shutter mechanism, which the G85 has, and it works out great. And I don't know why they took that off, because that would have been perfect around here. The EM1 has it here. And so this camera, when I grab it, look what they did first of all. So what Olympus did is they put the strap lug up here. So now what happens is the grip is only a grip. How nice is that? So I got big hands. Now look, when I grab this, I got nothing getting in the way of my hand. I got the shutter dial one-handed, easy, right? I got the rear dial back here, easy. And because I don't got something stuck in my hand, or because I don't got to move my fingers around, I can basically operate this camera with one hand. So they're both really good. I mean, if you're in the Lumix system already, I would not say get an Olympus. I would suggest that if you're buying into the Olympus system, buy Olympus glass. If you're buying into the Panasonic, buy Panasonic and Leica glass. They're very similar cameras. but a little bit of a different flavor.
Is that everything from your bag? That's all the stuff in your bag?
I got a little more bits and pieces. I got extra batteries. I got this memory card case. This is a pretty good one. It's Pelican, and they're weather sealed. So use it in the rain, it's fine. I'm really picky with how I organize my cards. I do that mainly because of the dual card slots. The quality memory cards are inexpensive, so buy a bunch. Buy some less expensive ones and put them in random places in case you forget. Your normal memory cards, put them in your glove box, put one in your wallet. Buy good memory cards, label them. And one thing I do when I'm done shooting is I'll flip the cards over when I put them back in, so I know that they're used, and I can also lock them. Another thing that I can't live without is cleaning supplies. Good grief. Lens pen, anything that's going to touch your glass, don't cheap out on. This stuff's not expensive. And then Zeiss camera wipes, because I use these. I use like 3 or 4 of these a day for my eyeglasses, for my iPad, for my camera lenses. These are great. This together will get your stuff clean. I keep a notepad in the back, Sharpie marker, hand sanitizer, and if you catch me on a regular day when I'm just kind of not shooting an assignment, I also have diapers in here because I'm hanging out with my son Roman.
I have a very important question about gear. So what diaper should people wear when they post negative comments? Like on our channels, what's the best diaper company that people should pack in their photo bag from when they're hating on us on YouTube?
There are a lot of adult diapers, and you should, if you Google like baby man, you'll see that there's a lot of people that like to dress like babies, and they're more of a influencer when it comes to adult diapers than I would say I would be. But
do they make a diaper specifically for full frame Nazis?
Actually,
do you have one?
I have something actually that I keep in my bag. That's if you're past diapers and you are living in a place like Austin, you need to have some of these with you. So
leave nothing behind.
Right. If you need to do a quick, cowboy shower, you're about to go on a meeting and you've been outside and you're sweating.
We're gonna get mad diaper and Good Wipes sponsorships from this. So Good Wipes, if you're watching this.
Seriously, I don't pack this stuff because I don't use it. I use this stuff because if you live in a humid environment, you need to prepare yourself, but also your cameras. In a humid environment, when you're outside, your equipment is exposed to the humidity, right? And when you're indoors and you have AC like here, you don't have really nearly as much humidity, so things get dry. So if you've ever gone outside in a humid environment, your glasses fog up, well, your lenses do the same, and your lenses, even on some weather-sealed lenses, will fog internally. I don't know if these weather-sealed lenses will, because they're pretty robust, but they will fog on the exterior. That's because of the condensation. You're going from an extremely dry environment to an extremely humid environment, from cool to warm. It's condensation, right? So one thing you can do, like when we used to help out my friend Steve Sanacor, who does photography for sales resorts, we'd be like in Jamaica in the morning. I would take everything off charge, get all the cards ready, put it in his camera bags, and I put it on a balcony for about an hour in the camera bag. That would give the cameras time to warm up to the temperature, and then me just like taking it off the balcony and going through the hotel room and then back into a humid environment was fine. It would stay acclimated. So keep that in mind if you're going from dry to humid. You will get things fogged up. You will see it in some of the less expensive lenses. You will get the humidity internally. Now the thing is with the condensation internally, if it doesn't dry right, you may get some water spots internally in your lens and get potentially mold and fungus growing in your lens. And that'll look weird. You'll see like a little tiny thing. It'll drive you nuts. You'll be like, is that a sensor spot on my sensor? What's going on? And then it turns out it's the lens. I've had it happen before. And another tip on lenses, if your front of your lens is dirty, it's not the end of the world. You're unlikely to see that, especially if you zoom out. But it's the rear element that you got to worry about. That is the most important part of the lens you want to keep clean because that's where the light comes to focus. Keep the rear clean, keep the contacts clean. Don't ever set it down. I see people setting these down on like brick walls and stuff without the cap. Don't do that. You're just asking for trouble. If your contacts there ever get dirty, use an eraser for like a pencil eraser and that'll scrub off pretty nice. And then use a blower brush or your lens pen and brush that off. So that's one area where you don't want to skimp is on the, really don't want to really skimp on the accessories that matter, right? Good microphone makes a huge difference. Good lens makes a huge difference. These bodies will be gone. They'll be replaced within probably, a few years. if not sooner, right? But this lens is a great lens today. This lens is a great lens today, and it'll work on the newer cameras. So put your money always into your optics. Put it into good quality memory cards. Put it into good quality bags. Buy the things that will support you and help you get to that vision. These are going to change. These are going to change. And who knows where they'll be in 10 years. The lenses, you're good to go. And if you ever need a change system, your lenses hold a value, the bodies don't.
And that's one of the best benefits of having like an interchangeable lens system, where you still have your lenses, but when the next best, greatest body comes out that you can't resist because you see our amazing reviews on our YouTube channels, sell the body, or keep it in your dark basement, and then get the new body and then pop the lens on there. It's pretty amazing. So it's like instead of replacing the whole iPhone, you replace the camera mechanism in the iPhone. Wouldn't that be amazing?
And the thing is, understand that every lens, good quality lenses have their own personality, and you need to learn the personality of the lens, even more so than you need to learn the camera. And you can study a manual and you can understand how to go into this menu and click this and do that. But how do you know how your lens is going to operate at f/6 versus f8? Especially if it's a zoom lens, how do you know how that aperture is going to work at 12 millimeter, at 18, 25, 36, 50, 7100, or anywhere in between? You need to really learn your lenses more, I would say, than you need to learn your cameras, because if you're going to keep these for a long time, understand the personality of the lens, where they're sharpest, understand how and why they flare, so you can use that to your advantage, understand how they work with video, how they balance on the camera, all these things. You need to learn all of that more so than the cameras. Too much emphasis on the cameras, and I get it, the cameras are fun, but if you have a junky lens and a nice camera, you're going to make a junky picture. Period. And again, we also obsess over sharpness, and it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the content of the image, not the technical quality of the image. That makes you a good technician, doesn't make you a good photographer. So you can get really good quality optics for not a lot. In fact, this kit lens here, this 12 to 32, is a pretty sharp lens. I would have no problem selling photos that I shot with this camera and this lens. I would feel just as confident with this as I would with these. The difference is these cameras will do the same things as the GM1 faster, and these cameras will do other things that the GM1 can't do, like IBIS and pixel shift shooting and all sorts of crazy stuff.
All right, so now you know what kind of diapers to get if you're out there and you're thinking about leaving a really hateful comment. I suggest Pampers. That's usually what I suggest to my haters. You can also go diaperless if you want and get a big rash. But anyway, Giulio, thank you so much for showing us all of these amazing cameras. You couldn't see this, behind the camera, but I was drooling and I farted a little bit back there just out of nervous excitement. If you thought about something, if you have a question for Giulio, if you have a question for me, let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, press that notification bell. That'll make us both very happy. Be sure to visit Giulio's channel on YouTube as well. You can check us out on Instagram. I'll leave all those links in the comments. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. It's a wrap.
All right.